us. Okay, so this video is our 7th Q video, so for juniors only. Senior one will be done separately. So this is where we start to see a difference between the junior syllabus and the senior syllabus. Our kata is Heian Shodan, and we do that all the way through. So that's all 21 moves. We're also going to be doing our Go-On Kumite, that's our 5-step sparring. I will be doing it on my own today, but you can do it with a partner if you have somebody at home to help you. We'll do both the attacks and the defences. This lesson is just to go through the whole syllabus so it's in one place for you. So we're going to start with Oizuki, so that's our stepping punch. I'm going to do 3 steps. You can do as many as you like. Now obviously if you don't have much space, you can just do your Gyakuzuki on the spot if you need to. You can also do it from downward block, step forward and punch, and then step backwards and punch. So that's obviously using up less space. I'm going to be doing 3 steps and then stepping backwards for the 3 techniques as well. And that will be the same for all of the moves that we've got the combinations on. So we're going to start with our downward block. So left leg forward, and we're going to step forward, stepping punch, Oizuki. And 1, 2, 3. And backwards. 1, 2, 3. And yame. Okay, so you can do it as fast as you want, as quick as slow as you want. Just make sure those techniques are square shoulders, punch and chew down to the middle, so it's not high up, it's just down from the shoulder, and that you're getting those front stances, which is why it's important to make sure you're either getting a lot of techniques in, but also getting those steps, but also making sure you've got that good front stance. So the knee is over the toe and the back foot is right down to the floor. So you've got a good long front stance. Really make sure that you've got that when you're doing these techniques. Okay, so our next one we've got is Agyuki, Gyakuzuki, Kiramarai. So the basics are Agyuki. So that's fairly simple. Gyakuzuki on the spot. We're getting that hip in. So make sure we're not bending that knee. Okay, don't let that front knee fold in. Make sure that hip comes in for the Gyakuzuki and your hikite arm is tucked right back. So that's our Gyakuzuki. We then bring our hikite arm across for a full downward block. So we're changing from sideways for a block to forwards for the attack and then back again for the block. So we're really looking at those hips moving now. So left leg forward, downward block. So we're going to step forward, Agyuki, Gyakuzuki, Kiramarai. 1, 2, and 3. And then backwards. 1, 2, and 3. And yame. Okay, we're going to do it a little bit quicker again this time. So Oizuki is easy to do fast and slow, but this one we want to make sure we've got the techniques and then we've got the speed with it as well. So don't lose the technique just because of the speed. So stepping our left leg forward into downward block. Agyuki, Gyakuzuki, Kiramarai. And 1, 2, and 3. And then going backwards. 1, 2, and 3. And yame. Okay, so at the moment I'm not doing any kiais on these. If you do want to do kiais, that will always be on your Gyakuzuki. So it's a strong technique. When that hip comes in and you punch, that's when you do your kiai. So if you want to put that kiai in, feel free to. So our next technique is Soto Udiyuki. So it's our outside block coming right from the ear. Gyakuzuki, Kiramarai. So it's the same combination at the end. Start instead of the Agyuki, but this time I'm going to do Soto Uki, outside block. So again, 3 techniques. So left leg forward, nice and slowly. So our front hand is a block. So that's the hand that's going to point. Other hand comes from the hip and turns upside down for the block. So 1, Gyakuzuki, Kiramarai. 2 and 3. And now going backwards. 1, 2 and 3. Okay, from that Kiramarai, we're going to do it again. It's a little bit quicker. So 1, 2, 3 and backwards. 1, 2, 3 and yame. And breathe. Remember to get those big breaths in at the end of each of the techniques. So when we yame and relax, make sure you get a nice big deep breath right to the bottom of the lungs. Okay, so our next technique is we're working down the body. So we've done our Agyuki, our Soto Udiyuki. Now we're going to do our inside block Uchi Udiyuki. So it comes right from underneath into the block. And again, all you can do is inside block, and then step forward, and then step 1 back again. That's absolutely fine. Just making sure again, as I said at the start, you're getting those nice long stances and that they're hip width apart. Okay, so stepping down, left leg forward. Nice and slowly all the way through. Uchiuki, Gyakuzuki, Kiramarai. 1, 2 and 3 and backwards. 1, 2 and 3. Okay, from the Kiramarai, we're going to go a little bit quicker. And on this one, when it's high speed, if you want to put the Kiagi on the Gyakuzuki at the end, that's absolutely fine. Okay, so bit quick through Uchiuki, Gyakuzuki, Kiramarai. 1, 2 and 3 and backwards. 1, 2, 3 and yame and breathe. Okay, so the next thing we've got is a nice simple Soto Udiyuki. So this is in back stance. So we have our front stance here, feet are hip width apart, and it's a nice long stance. The length of the stance is the same, so from here, but our heels are in line. So you need to make sure that those heels are in line, bending that back knee, soft front knee. Okay, so instead of the front stance here, it's back stance here. So pushing that knee out so you don't damage your knee, and then sinking down. So just keeping that front knee nice and soft. That's our back stance. Soto, hand at the front, protecting your solar plexus, so it's just above your belt. Nice flat hand, and the blocking hand is shoulder height with the right angle at your elbow. Okay, and it's just Soto Udiyuki, there's no combination on this. So stepping down into back stance with a knife hand block. So coming forwards nice and slowly, pointing that front hand, coming halfway, and then stepping all the way through for the block. And again. Okay, now I'm only going to do 2 on these ones. So going backwards, 1, 2. Okay, so whether you're going forwards or backwards, you're still having to come to that halfway point. So hips are facing forwards and the hands are in the ready position here. Okay, and then stepping back into the block. So coming forwards a little bit quicker, twice coming forwards. 1, 2 and backwards. 1, 2 and yame. and breathe. And it's always good, really good at this point to practice those shoe toes, because at the end of our kata we have 4 shoe toes. So if you don't have much space, again, you can just step forwards and backwards if you want to do that, or you can practice what we call the K. So you've got the back of the K and then the legs, and that's the angles that we do it on at 45 degrees in the kata. So you go from the left, point out, across, behind, and across. Okay, so that's 4 moves at the end of the kata. So if you've got a bit more space, that's really worth practicing as well. Okay, so we've now got our maigeri, our front snap kick. Okay, so you can do maigeris as Kiagi, which is the snap, or you can do it as a kokomi, which is a thrust, and that's where you're really pushing your hips in. On this one, we're going to do it as a snap, but you need to make sure that that knee comes up and that you're pushing right out and then coming back before you land. What we don't want is a swinging leg. What we don't want is just a football kick. Okay, so we're going to go through it nice and slowly. I'll go sideways so you can see what we mean. So we bring that back leg up halfway. So the foot is away from the floor, keeping that back knee, that supporting knee, just slightly bent. Kicking out, pulling those toes back, pulling it back to the other knee, and then landing. Okay, so it's really worth doing slowly. It is a test of the balance, so if you're a little bit wobbly, you can always hold on to something. Okay, so we're going to come forward, step forward, double blocks, then Saturaki. So stepping down, always with the left leg first. So we're going to kick with our right leg for a maigeri, and it's chudan, so you're aiming for your belt height. So 1, nice and slowly. 2. Okay, now you can't kick going backwards, so we'll just shuffle back. So left leg forward again. So 1, nice and slowly. And you're aiming for the centre on this. 2. Okay, I'm going backwards. A little bit quicker this time. 1, 2. Okay, I'm going backwards. And once more. 1, 2. And yame. And breathe. Okay, so that's our maigeri. So we've done it a lot, okay, from the very, very first gradings that we've done from the blue belt. But making sure you go through those motions is really, really important. Okay, so our next technique that we're going to do is Yoko Geri Kiagi. So it's side snap kick. Again, we're going to go through it slowly. We're working in Kibadachi on this. So in this syllabus, we've got front stance, we've got back stance, we also have Kibadachi. Okay, so all of them are the same length. Front stance, back stance, Kibadachi. They're all the same. It's just the way the feet are pointing and the weight that you've got. Got half your weight on each leg on this one, so there's no favoritism on either one. Okay, keeping that back nice and straight, bum tucked under, shoulders down. Okay, we keep our hands to the side, and that's going to help keep your balance. All right, so we're going to start with our left leg forward. So from yoi, step our left leg forward, and we turn to the side. Okay, and this is where you can see, particularly if you watch yourself in a mirror or a video, you can see if you're leaning forwards or backwards. There's tendency to lean forwards. You want to make sure you're nice and straight. So we're going to step our right leg across, keeping the knees bent, and keep those toes in line if you can. Bring the left foot round and up to the knee. Our knee is pointing the direction we're going to kick. Our left foot kicks out to the side, brings it back, and then we land. So we're going to go again. Shuffle back slightly. So step across. Right foot is bent, the knee's bent. The left foot comes up to the knee, keeping that knee bent, keeping the back straight. Kicking out to the side, and then land. Okay, now with this one, you can do the technique going there and going back without changing your direction. So you don't actually need to yame or anything. You can do both legs, one there, one back. Okay, I'm just going to work on the one leg today. So I'm going to do my left leg, and then your turn to do the right leg going back. All right. So stepping down with our left leg forward. Make sure you're in good Kibadachi. All right. Keeping that back nice and straight. So this time, instead of slow motion, we're going to kick it out and pull it back. 1, cross, up, out and down. 2, and down. Now we just turn our heads and we go back the other way. So it's the same move. Step your left foot across in front, up, kick to the side, and 2. And turn, which is just the head, and then yame. So we're going to do that again, but quickly through. And that means from our Kibadachi, we step across, knee comes up, snap it out. That was quite slow, so you've got to make sure it's a snap. Okay? As quick as you can, but don't hyperextend that knee. If you do, you might hurt your knee. Just make sure you get that kick going out. And we're kicking with the edge of our foot. Okay, so it's the outside edge of the foot. All right. So stepping down into Kibadachi with your left leg forward. So we're going to step across, keeping the back nice and straight. 1, 2, and turn the head. 1, 2, and yame, and breathe. Okay, so with this, you've got your kick. There's no Gyakuzuki, so when you kick, and you want to kiai, just do it on the last one, or do it on each kick. It doesn't really matter. Making sure you get that movement there again, like with our Maigeris, getting that knee up. If you've got Kiagi from down here, it kicks down here. If you've got it up here, obviously it kicks higher. So you need to make sure you're getting that knee up. Okay, so that's all of our basics. So now we're going to move on to our Gohon Kumite, which we have covered before. So you've got 5 steps. I only have space for 3. But you've got 5 steps forward, and that's your attacks. On the last one, we kiai. On the defense, we go backwards, and on the last one, so you've got your blocks. On the last one, you've got a counter punch, and that's your Gyakuzuki, and that's where you kiai. Okay, so you should do 5 techniques. If you've got space for 5, please do. We're only going to do 3 on here. So we step down with our left leg forward, and you tell your partner where you're going to hit. So you shout loudly at them, Jodan. So you're going to hit them in the head. So we say Jodan. Then we step forward and we punch 3 or 5 if you've got space, Oizukis. 1, 2, and 3. Hit. We then yame the way we're going, which means moving forwards. Okay, so from our last one here, from our Oizuki, we pull forwards. Our attacker, or the defender, that was going backwards last time is now going to attack us. They will shout Jodan at us. They will hit us in the head, and we will step backwards. Please step backwards, not forwards. And we'll do an Agyuki block. Make sure you go through the full block. Okay. So we're going to go backwards 3 times, 5 if you've got space. So 1, 2, and 3. Then Gyakuzuki on the spot, hit, and yame. So we'll do that again, 3 times there for the attack, 3 times going backwards for the defense. So stepping down, our left leg forward, we shout Jodan, and 1, 2, 3, hit, yame forwards, and then we're stepping backwards. So left block first, 1, 2, 3, hit, and yame. Okay, so that's our Jodan. Chudan, again, before we go on, I've said if you can get 5, you can get 5. I can get 3 just. If you can't get that many in, just do it as Kihon, which is just 1. Kihon Ippon, 1 step, okay? So that will be 1 attack forward, 1 defense back. Okay, so that's absolutely fine if you're just wanting to get the motion going, work on that instead, and then we can put the numbers in. But really, if you can get the space in, do try and get more steps in. So this time, starting down, downward block. We're going to come forward, Chudan punch. So that's chest level, just below the shoulders. 3, 5, as many as you can get in, steps forward. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and then you yam it forwards. And then we're going to step backwards with Soto Udiyuki. Okay, so the attack's coming in from their right side, which is your left. So you're going to do a left block, stepping back with the right side. 1, 2, and 3. And then Gyakuzuki on the spot. Okay, so let's do this a little quicker. So left leg forward, and we say Chudan. Stepping forwards. 1, 2, 3. Hit. Yame. Going backwards for the defence. 1, 2, 3. Hit. And Yame. Good. Okay, so the next one we've got is Mai Geri. So you'll shout Mai Geri and you will attack and you will try to aim for the belt. Okay, always try and aim centrally because if you don't, there's no point in the other person blocking. You need to make sure you are on target. So trying to aim for the knot on the belt. Okay, so again, I'm going to do 3. If you've got space for 5, do 5. If you don't, then just do the 1 step forward for the Mai Geri, 1 step backwards for the downward block. Okay, so stepping down into Zen Kutsudachi, now left leg forward. We say Mai Geri and 1, 2, 3. Hit. Yame forwards, and then we're going to go backwards with a downward block. Again, making sure it's a full block. So 1, 2, 3. Punch on the spot. Yame. And we'll do that again. A little bit quicker. So Mai Geri. 1, 2, 3. Hey. Yame. And going backwards with our block. 1, 2, 3. Hey. Yame. And breathe. Nice big breath. Okay, so the last part of our syllabus is our kata. And that one is Heian Shodan. So that's Peaceful Mind first level. So this is where it changes a little bit now from Takeoku Shodan. So we've got 21 moves instead of 20. We're going to use front stance and back stance. And this is where we start to introduce Tetsuy. Okay, so it comes right across and strikes. It's a bottom fist that's coming across. You're pulling back when we do it. So from a front stance, we pull back right past the ear and there. Now, if you're getting a little confused as to which way the fist will go on this, okay, if you think about rock, paper, scissors, you hit your palm with the bottom of your fist. That is what you're doing here. So it's not here and it's not a back fist, it's a bottom fist. So it's the squishy part underneath. Okay, so rock, paper, scissors does that. That's what you're doing to the side. Okay, that's number 4 of move of the kata. So we'll go through it to count. So you've got Kiramarai to start with. On number 4, we pull back and do our Tetsuy. And then we step forward and do a punch. We've then got 3 Agyukis. On the 3rd one, it's our Kiagi. Okay, if you don't have much space, it is difficult when you're working in the house. You want to try and get stances in properly if you can. If you have to do short stances, which I will do here, then do that, but trying to really work on the techniques as much as you can. Okay, so we start off going to the left with a downward block. So feet together, Rei, and Yori. Left foot out into downward block. 1. Stepping punch. 2. Turning all the way behind for a downward block. 3. This is where we've got our Tetsuy. So we pull our front foot back half a step and our Tetsuy comes round. So we're pulling back, over the top, Tetsuy. Stepping forward for the punch. 5. We now turn 90 degrees to the front in downward block. 6. Now got 3 Agyukis. 1, 2, and 3. Hit. Now turn our back foot all the way round, downward block. And this is like the second half of Takeoku Shodan. 1, step and punch, 2. Turning behind so the front foot goes all the way behind us. Downward block, 3, step and punch, 4. We're now going to go away, and these are 3 punches. So downward block first to the back, 1, and now 3 Oizukis. 1, 2, 3. Hey. Our back foot moves all the way around, and we're going into back stance this time. So left foot all the way around into back stance, and it's a Shuto Uki. We point 45 degrees, so our left hand is blocking, that points out, and that's the line we're going to step across. So our right hand at our tummy comes up, step forward into back stance. Try not to shuffle your feet, just space. Right foot all the way behind, so we're pointing underneath into back stance. Right foot forward, right hand up. Your blocking hand points 45 degrees, and that's the line we're going to step across. Okay, so the left hand comes up, step forward, Shuto, and then pulling back into Yoi. Okay, so we'll do that again. I'm just going to count it through. I'm not going to explain the moves, we're just going to go through it. The kata is available as a separate video anyway, and it does show those 4 moves at the end quite nicely. Okay, so feet together, so your right foot moves in into Musubadachi and Rei. Us. Right foot moves back out into Yoi. And say the name of the kata, Heian Shodan. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hey. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hey. Into Shuto. 1, 2, 3, 4, and Yame. And breathe. Right foot in, and Rei. Us, and Yoi. Okay, so the videos we've got of Heian Shodan does do it in time and count, so please work on that. But this has been a little bit of a combination of all of the basics and the syllabus for junior yellow belts. That's your 7th kyu. Okay, so hope you got something from it. Please, as I said before, pause it, rewind it, do what you need to make sure that you can practice those techniques as much as you need to. Space, if you don't have it, just try and do what you can. Okay, so feet together and Rei.